Hi, I'm Dan with Sprouts, Greens, and More. So today I'm in the back garden, and my wagon's too wide to get down these rows right here. So I gotta park it there, and then I got my, if you look, I got my buckets up there, and I'll get my buckets filled up, and then I'm gonna put a little bit of compost on this raised bed, and you see the garden's looking really good. So I got this raised bed right here, and I put a little bit of potting soil, but I don't want it too fluffy, because if you get too much potting soil, then it just gets too fluffy. Look who made it. Look who made it after all. So he made it. Now he's happy because he's with me. So he's definitely my garden buddy. Alright. I'm gonna have to do a lot. So anyway. So I have the raised beds right here. And you don't want it too fluffy. And it looked like that one a few minutes ago. Actually, then it looked like that one right there with all the weeds, and I got one more to do, and a little bit in the back there on the back run against the fence, and then I'm pretty much all done with the weeds. You can see the grass, the tall grass, but the grass actually did a ground covering and kind of saved me from a lot of little weed pulling, which was good. So I'm going to get the compost on. This bed's still about 3 inches too low. About that far too low. So I'm going to get the compost, and I'm going to mix it into the top. And then I'll come back with the buckets and show you how I'm going to kind of mix it in. And then I'll be right back. So we're going to go get the compost, and then I'll be right back. So if you are a gardener and you're new to gardening, I would suggest that you get buckets. And here's this one, it's filled full of compost that I get from Bulk Yard here in Bakersfield, California. And if you're ever around this area, you go by there and it's $42 a cubic a yard. So all I'm going to do is just spread this down the raised bed there, and I'm probably going to do about 6 buckets, and then so anyway, I'm going to do about 6 buckets of the compost, and then I'm going to hand mix this with the trowel. And the reason being is that I found some nut grass in this raised bed, and I want to get as much of that nut out as possible. And then what I'm going to plant in here is spicy salad mix, and this stuff is just for the market. I mean, I do eat it, but mainly it's going to be just for the market. And I found some, and this one was in the middle. I had thrown some seed in here, and this is actually garlic. And I had kind of replanted it on the side right here, but I think I'm going to take it out and actually put it over by the broccoli over there, because I don't want any garlic in my lettuce mix when I cut it. And I already know me, I'm going to be out here making sure there's no weeds out here, and then when I go to cut it, it'll have the garlic in it, and some people will be like, that wasn't cool, that thing had garlic in it. But some of my customers that know me, they know that I'm a true blue gardener, and that I just grow a lot of stuff, and it's really tight in my gardens. And so some of my customers just don't care. They're like, oh, that was cool, it had garlic in it. But we're gonna make sure that this bed doesn't. And I'm gonna do a lettuce mix on this side, and then I'm gonna do a spicy salad mix on that side. And I think I really kind of put about, they're like 7-gallon bags, and I put about 4 or 5 of those that were some old potting soil that I was growing some artichokes in, I think. And so I put about 5 to 7 bags in here, and then I'm going to do 6 of these. So half and half basically of the compost versus the potting mix. And I think what will happen is that the cocoa coir in the old potting mix will be really good for the seed starting. And one thing I'm gonna do on this bed, because it's still a little cold, we're in January still, actually February today, and then it's still a little cold. So what I'm gonna do is grab my plastic, and I have it over there, and I'm actually gonna stake it down and water it, stake down the plastic, and then during the day the sun will kind of get the lettuce seed, because lettuce is a little harder to start than most seeds. So we'll get it going, and we'll get this thing up and running. And then about the end of February, I might be back at the markets 1 day a week doing markets. So it'll be fun, and then I'll shoot videos of us doing the markets, and it'll be cool. So anyway, I'm gonna get this in here, and then I'll show you the finished result, and then I'll throw the seed down and show you how I do that. And there's a couple different ways you can do it, but I'm just going to show you the simplest way, and it's going to be cool. So keep watching the video and you'll see. Okay, so what I did was I put about 6 buckets on this. And I actually had just started, and I looked up and my video was off. So let's make sure sounds good and everything. So what, you can just mix it in with your hand, but I want to, there's some root in here and some weed still. And so I'm going to use the trowel and just kind of trowel it in. And then over here you can see hopefully you can see it on the video. And then we'll manipulate this watering along a little bit. And then what you want to do is kind of get it even with the top of the bed. And this bed is fairly new, so it had sunk quite a bit. And so I'm just breaking up the old potting soil and mixing it in with the compost. And this works really good if you're on a budget, and I'm always on a budget. So like a lot of guys that do videos, they go all out, and I can't afford that. I'm gonna grow my food as less expensive as possible and still have the highest density food on the planet. And I think I do that with, resourcing, the old indoor growers, and using their old soil. And if you let it sit, it shouldn't be a problem, because it will compost down and settle, and then you water it down. But you can see the weed, and I'm getting all that little root out, and it looks good now. And then just keep troweling it in. And then the thing is that, I could have put a little more compost in this one, but I figured a rock right there. We'll put that in the bucket. We'll get that out of the garden. We don't want rock. I don't really want too much rock in here. And then what will happen is it will settle down again. And then after I do the lettuce, and because I'm out here full time again, like the weeds aren't really taking me over, so it shouldn't be an issue, hopefully, too much anymore. And you can see the compost, and you just want to go through, and the nut grass was really bad on this bed. The rest of the beds I don't really have too much problem because I've never let it get as far as this one got weed wise, and so I really took care of it, the other beds, and they didn't get a lot of the nut grass. But sometimes when you're hurt, and I had been hurt, the gardens just, they took me over. And now I'm still hurt. I got attacked by a pit bull, and I've got something really wrong with my shoulder, and my wife asked me if I'd go take care of it, and I'm really kind of procrastination. I'd rather work on my garden than go to the doctor. But if I don't take care of the problem, then I won't be able to work on my garden, is what she said. So she does have a point. So I'm gonna walk around here. Watch out, Crypto. Come on, get out of the way. And I'm trying to keep my mic on me today, and so I'm kind of behind the camera, but I'm gonna trowel this area in real quick. And then on this bed, I am going to put a trellis on the end where you can't even see me. And when I do that, I will build the trellis. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to weld some end caps for the conduit. And I use 3/4 inch and 1 inch conduit in my garden for my trellises. And if you look at the video on my T-posts, which is right there, that trellis, and I built that at a T-post, and I got 1 inch conduit on the top. And so you can check out my previous videos on that. And this bed over here, if you look over here, and hopefully you can see me, because I don't have my screen turned to where I can see it. This row right here is way too narrow. And I've been wanting to put out a video for like your garden, your garden being friendly to you, because when you get my age, you start slowing down, and like you start not really falling, but like you start stubbing your toes on stuff, and it can get bad. So I almost got this whole thing done. And you can see how dark and rich and good it is now. Crypto, get out of there. There's a dog next door, and he's really friendly, I think. And him and Crypto are kind of talk through the fence a little bit once in a while. And I think they're becoming buddies, which is good. Because the last dog they had bit my pit bull in the lip and wouldn't let go of her, and it was terrible. Now, I've had some pit bull experiences, I'll tell you, and I own one, so I'm not anti-pit bull. I used to be until I owned one. I rescued her, and she is the sweetest thing you'll ever see. She is like the nicest dog I've ever had. So yeah, Crypto's pretty nice too. So anyway, I got this bed pretty well leveled out, and I got the drip irrigation sitting on top. I have a garlic right here, and I don't know if you can see it on the video, and if you can't, then I'll edit that part. But I got this bed looking good. So I'm gonna go grab my seed, one of my seed containers, and see if I can find the salad mix I want to put in here, and then I'll water it in and just probably grab a little bit of mixed soil and just put over the seed. Because when you're doing indoor like sprouts, you don't have birds and stuff. But when you're in the garden, and you're outside, the birds literally, if you put it on top, especially lettuce, they like lettuce, they'll eat the seed right off, and then you'll be like, why didn't anything sprout up? So you do have to cover some of your seed. I noticed they didn't really do the radish too much in the bed next to me. Right there. And you can see, I don't know if you can see that on there, but the radish is coming up, and that's French breakfast. And see, that one I didn't really mix any compost on top, and you can see how much perlite is on there. Big dog, hey, big dog. Crypto, listen to me, hey, get out of there. So anyway, I'm going to pause this, and then you can see this soil, and I'll wet it down, and you'll notice it doesn't have as much perlite on top of the soil. And I'm not worried about the perlite. I'm a firm believer it breaks down in the outdoor situation, and then I'll come back with the seed and we'll plant this out. I just love him. Hey, go. Don't walk on the bed either, go. Yeah, go. Go. Still in training. He still wants to go to the fence. The other dog is definitely out. So I'm going to try to get a really good shot of this whole bed. And it's kind of at an angle, sorry about that. So I ran and I got the seed. So this is from True Leaf, which used to be Mountain Valley, and they actually still write Mountain Valley on their stuff. So I don't know if you can see that on there. Hopefully you can. Hopefully this comes out really good. And then this is just the lettuce mix and greens. And it's a mesclun mix, so it's got the mesclun lettuce in it. It's just offhand, I'm going to say it has romaine. Dead battery. You gotta be kidding me. So I think I got a good view of the whole bed. So I don't know if that last part came out. So we're going to do a shoot on this. So this is a mesclun lettuce mix. And I'm going to do it on this side of the raised bed. And then I have a spicy one. And the one thing I didn't like about Mountain Valley when they changed to True Leaf is they quit labeling their mixes. And I don't know if you can see this one. But I think you can see this one. So this one I had to write on. And the reason being is when you do the markets, the inspector that I have, oh man, he's just a kid, but he wanted to know what's in every single mix when I already have it in trays, and that's a whole different subject. I don't want to get off track here. But anyway, so I had to call them and actually get what was in there because they didn't even have it on their website. So that's one thing that I hope they change. I bought this seed about 6 months ago, maybe a year ago. And this one has kohlrabi, kale, looks like broccoli, arugula, cabbage, giant mustard, and I think it has brown mustard in it. And so what I'm going to do is put this on this side of the bed, and I'm going to do a mild green on this side and a spicy green on this side. And I'm not going to draw exact lines, so the one in the middle, I might eat it. That way, if I'm selling it, someone doesn't know, wow, that was spicy. Sometimes I'll tell someone, well, it's not that bad, and then they'll eat it, and they're like, woo, that's smoking hot, like the wasabi, woo, boy, that's pretty good. So anyway, I'm going to stand up here, still going to take my mic with me. My mic wasn't even plugged in, so I hope you guys could hear me. Now my mic is plugged in, so I hope you guys can hear all that on the video. If not, it's gonna just suck. So anyway, I'm gonna take the spicy, and this is the way I'm gonna do it. Is I'm gonna do right down here is gonna be my line, that pipe. And so when you do the lettuce mix, I have a planter from Johnny Seed, but I have to pull all my irrigation up, and I'm not into doing that, and it will lay it down like, but I'm pretty good by hand just sprinkling it in there. And you don't want it too thick because you want it to grow out. Like, you don't want a big pile of it. You want it nice and distributed over the raised bed. And one thing I'm going to do is shorten this bed to 4 foot, because if you look, I'm in this small little row over here, and it's not very usable friendly for me anymore, because I'm getting older and I'm afraid I'm going to fall over here when I'm moving in and out of the raised bed. So I've got this, and I'm just laying a little bit down. I'm not like just saturating it on there. I'm just doing a little bit. I don't want it too heavy. And same thing, like if you're hand seeding like radishes and stuff, you don't want that too thick either. One thing I did do was I went and I had made up some compost for some babies for pepper plants I transplanted today, and so I had some soil in the mixer, and once I wet this down, I'm going to put this over the top of it a little bit so the birds don't pick it up, and then I'll water it again. Sorry about my mic, you guys. It's probably crackling when I do that. So I'm going to show you the seed. I don't want any of this to fall in my mess one day. But this is the seed. I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to let that focus on that. And then we'll put that back in there. It's on autofocus, good. And then we'll do this bed right here. And then up front, I have arugula, but you can see the difference in the seed. Like, this has got way more lettuce in it. Looks like it's got some spinach. And I think that's a beet seed or Swiss chard. I'm not too sure. It might be Swiss chard. It's pretty light. Usually the beet seed is a little bit darker. And then what I'm going to do on this one is I'm just going to do this one nice and light. I'm not going to do too heavy on it, because I don't want it too heavy. I want the baby green to get babied. And if I got too much seed on the raised bed, it won't get babied. it will come in so thick that it will be bad. Come on, big dog, go. See, he always wants to be in the way. So here's my line, and I'm keeping it pretty good. And plus, if you're too heavy, it just gets too expensive. Because I think this pack, I'd have to go back online and look, but I think it's about 40 bucks. So you want to try to get your money, you know, you want to be seeding it out and getting several crops and selling it. Now my friend, who I always refer to as a farmer, she sells at the market this mix right here. And she gets $12 a pound for this mix. So this is how I'm doing it. You guys might have better way, and that's cool. But this is how I'm going to do it today. And it's going to be good. I look a little light right there. Like I said, you don't want to be too heavy. That was a little heavy, but... Now I got all the garlic out of this one. So now what I'm going to do is grab my water hose. So I'm going to put my mic up, and then I'm going to do it on fan setting. And I really like to water things with either the shower or the fan. But this nozzle I have out here in the back garden, I've just been lazy. I haven't really been lazy. I've just been so busy that I haven't replaced it. I actually bought one to replace back here. But I haven't done it yet because I have to turn off the water, and I gotta go digging through a bunch of mint, and I got a bunch of lemon balm around the faucet. So anyway, let me go grab the garden hose, and then I'll come back and water this down. Don't step on that raised bed. Hey, come here. Come on. Go. Go. And big dog, he gets all tangled up in my mic cord. But he's getting pretty good. He's learning how to make the videos too. So here we are. So it looks like you could probably drop this down a little bit more. I swear to God, you guys, I'm going to get way better at making videos and like the perspective on, you know, what the angle is on them. And I'm getting pretty good with the mic stuff at this point. So I have it on shower, and you can see my shower setting is not bad. So I'm just going to do the shower setting, and then I'm just going to water it pretty good. And what happens is if you let it kind of flood the seed will kind of penetrate into the soil. And that's what you want. You want that seed to kind of penetrate into the soil. Be a cool test because we'll be able to tell. Let me grab my mic. So this will be a cool test, because we'll be able to tell which one actually grows faster. the kale mix, and I call it a kale mix, even though it's a spicy mix, arugula kale mix, and then or the just the lettuce green mix. And then what I'll do is the irrigation will still come on every day, but I'll actually top water it for the first week every day. And if you're looking at the spray over here, so when you go flat, I really like the flat setting for watering seed because there's just way more water. But you don't want it too flooded because then the seed will start to float. And it'll float away, literally float away into a corner, and you don't want that. You just want to really get your water even. And this bed was pretty much all weeds this morning, so I'm feeling like I accomplished something today. So now that I have that, see, like this bed is 5 feet across and it's too wide. Like I gotta walk around it. Now when I was younger, I could just put my hand in the middle. But now that I'm older, it's too wide. So I'm gonna make that row where I can get the rake in there and I can go in there and it'll be good. So now what I'm gonna do is just give a little thin soil on the top. I hope you guys can see this on the video. And then that way I can break this down. And you can see, like, there wasn't very much perlite really sitting on top of this soil compared to the radish bed that I showed you a few minutes ago. And I just want a nice thin layer on top. It doesn't have to be that deep, you guys. Like, you can grow microgreens in a tray, and I never ever cover them except corn and sometimes onion. And leeks. I'll just do a little thin coat on top, but this is, I mean, for the microgreens, you could just leave them right. I mean, if you want to do a whole bed of microgreens, you could cover it. And I am going to cover it. I guess I didn't need to top it off with soil, but just in case of the plastic, I don't want the birds to be getting all my seed. So I'm going to go over here and then I'll come back over here. I'm going to put my mic right over here. And I'm sorry for the noise. I live in a very, very busy area. Now, now that I covered it, I'm just going to take my water again and then hit it again. And this is how you do leafy greens for the market. And then it should come in nice and full. And then what we'll do is we'll cut it. And I don't have a harvester. I was in the process of getting one for the farm, but I just cut it with scissors. And then I take it into my kitchen area. I have a full kitchen area in my shop where I spin all the microgreens. And I'm still spinning by hand. I don't have a machine really. I have a little bowl spinner that I use for all my greens still. But eventually I will make one, and then I'll do a video of me making one. And I'll make one out of a washing machine. We'll probably put it in the greenhouse because my shop is so full and just everything. So anyway. And here's the ice cream man. Gotta go get some ice cream after this. Me and Crypto go get some ice cream. No, we go get some lettuce I seen over there. Eat it instead of the ice cream actually. There you go. Because I'm still fat. But I'm working on losing weight. I've lost about, since I started doing the videos, I've actually lost about 12 pounds. So doing good. So now we got it all watered down. Well, the one thing I'm going to do to try to get a little faster germination, because the germinating's been very, very slow, is I'm going to cover it with some plastic. And there was some back here, so I'm not even going to mess around. I'm just going to cover the bed and just kind of I'll find some stakes back here, hopefully. And then we'll cover the bed and come and uncover it every day, and I'll water it every day, and I'll keep you guys updated on how fast it sprouted with the plastic over the top of it. And by the way, this is greenhouse plastic from Greenhouse Mega Store. And it's this plastic, I'm not even kidding you. This plastic is about 3 or 4 years old. I might have bought this one off eBay actually. You can get it a little cheaper from Amazon and eBay. And all I'm going to do here, you guys, is just tuck it in. I was going to get a bunch of steaks, but I'm just going to tuck it in. And I think it'll be okay. Unless we have some big winds like we have. And I'm not even worried about the middle piece. That's just going to create a greenhouse effect in there. And it's going to be awesome. And I think it'll stay down pretty good unless I get a huge wind. Then I'll be like a tree snake. And then I'll cut another little piece of plastic. I got a little about 2 foot area right here. And I'll cut another little area, and I'm just going to fold this over. Like so. Just tuck it on in like that. That's it, she's done. And then I'll update you guys on it. And that's basically start to finish cleaning out the raised bed, putting the compost in, laying down the seed, and watering it in, putting a little top coat over it. Look if you're gonna cover the whole thing, then the birds won't get it. But I just wanted to show you, I knew I was going to cover it, but I just wanted to show you what you could do if you don't cover it. So you don't have to cover it at this point And I think the birds will pretty much stay out of it, but I have a lot of birds around here, so I try to protect. And I hadn't been covering the raised beds this winter. I just kind of been letting things grow at their own rate because I knew I wasn't going to be right at the market that quick, so I wasn't worried about the germination rate. But this one, I'm going to be there in a month, and I need this lettuce to go in about 45 days. And that's pushing it. But it's going to be baby lettuce, so I think I can get it up and running in 30 to 40 days, and then cut it, and then I can cut it every week, and it will actually come back, some of it, and then I'll have a mixed lettuce. And then I'm doing other lettuces around the garden where I can do mixed big lettuce and a little bigger than baby lettuce. So this is what I got. My name's Dan from Sprouts, Greens, and More. Eat what you grow what you eat, and make sure you subscribe and like the video and check it out. Peace. I'm out of here, and we'll catch you on the next one. You guys have a wonderful day. All right, bye.